Welcome to Tuesday Tea, the space where we get real, get honest, and talk about the things that actually matter. I'm your host, Alicia Bakker-Mudrock, therapist, Pilates teacher, coach, and author of Leading Lady Energy.
And I'm Melissa Levine, educator, coach, and your co-host for the conversations that don't shy away from the messy, the meaningful, and everything in between.
Each week, we sit down with incredible humans, leaders, creatives, parents, dreamers, people who've lived, struggled, succeeded, and figured things out the hard way.
We share stories, ask real questions, and highlight the badass people out there doing the work.
So grab your tea
Or your other favorite beverage.
and let's dive in. Hey everyone, it's so great to see you back. Today I'm joined with Claudie. She is a fun link up that I made at some of our pop-up events here in Southwest Florida. So a newer friend, but she has a lot of really incredible experience and she's doing some fun and unique things in the community and just with her passion set. So I wanted her here today to share a little bit more about her and what we can learn and kind of spill some tea along the way. So welcome, Claudia. I'll let you introduce yourself a bit more, but thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Hello, guys. Again, my name is Claudie. I'm a content creator here in Southwest Florida. Man, I started blogging about well, 8 years on Valentine's Day. It's been a long time, but pandemics when I was like, let me start taking it a bit serious. So yeah, we met at one of your pop-ups and we had an event together, and even that, as I was mentioning before, of my background in, photography and that type of stuff, it was the first event where I was just I was not influencer that day. I was a photographer I was taking and so it was the first time I was oh, let me get back into this role, of being behind the camera.
Okay. What kind of got you into the influencing world? I know it's such a big word with a lot of perhaps interpretations depending on who's hearing it. So maybe give us some info on how would you define it and what does that kind of mean for you? What got you into that and what does that sort of look like?
So the funny thing is, I used to hate social media. I did not want to be a part of it at all. If you would ask my college friends, actually, one of them, she was like, "How did you get into social media? Clay, you didn't like this at all." And I was just well, technically, I've been doing this for a while. I just wasn't the person on camera. But
Right.
so, 2017, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease called Graves' disease. And at the end of that first year, I had a horrible panic attack because of a job. And I was just I don't think the office life is for me. I'm I don't think this at all. It was very stressful. And I think that especially with getting sick, my body transformed. I remember feeling I didn't know myself physically or mentally. I did not know myself at all. My body could not do the things that it used to. And even
Right.
now, Pilates and maybe bar is the thing that I can do now. I used to go to the gym. I cannot do that. And so these are the things that I'm I could
Actually,
go on morning walks and that's the most intense that I can do. And so the panic attack was kind of okay, this is final straw of I gotta get out of this job. But I was just and what am I gonna do with my life?
Yeah.
And so I was let me just start writing about my feelings of what I'm going through. So at first it started off as a mental health blog of everything that I was going through. But also I was anonymous. For about
Okay.
a year or
Yeah.
two, I was completely anonymous. No one knew who I was. And it was also under a different name.
Okay.
It was called Wild and Woke. I had a little logo of a lion with glasses because I'm a Leo.
Love it.
Yeah. And then maybe a year or two in, I was okay, I think I need to stop being anonymous and actually show my face. And once I did that, I was just I hate the name of my blog. I was I hate Wild and
You need
Woke.
to rebrand.
I don't like this at all. And I remember every month I'm I need to change it. I need to, and a friend was just no, it's cute. It's cute. And if I'm constantly this needs to change, I'm I know something. It has to.
Right.
So I had a notes app of all the different things and of redefining myself. And because I feel I'm constantly on a journey of rediscovery. And so I think I still have like the notes list of like all the names and like writing out like defining my essence and being like, oh, this is the one. But let me sit on it for a month.
Okay.
And ever since I changed the name, this hasn't been an idea of like, you know,
Just
ever
that one
become just
match
like
anymore.
this is it.
Right.
But it was pandemic that like I was like, I need to take this seriously. When because I mentioned that I got sick, I was at Baylor University. I stopped school for a while and I finished my associate's degree. Um at FSW that's here at Fort Myers. And then I went back to Miami to finish my bachelor's degree at FIU.
Okay.
And while I was there, when I tell you almost every single day, I had so much guilt of not continuing with my blog because like
Mm.
the type of person that I am is like once I set my mind to something, I'm gonna completely do that. And like I can't like me finishing school, I'm like, I have to focus on school.
Okay.
So pandemic happened. That was my last semester in college, and so I didn't get to actually graduate. I had to come back. Like FIU was like, get out.
You're like, if she's in Florida saying that, then you know.
Yeah. Oh no, because like think I think Harvard was like one of the first schools to like tell students to be like, y'all gotta go.
Right.
And a lot of the schools saw the backlash and was like, oh, maybe we let you stay for a while. And so like we got
Oh.
approved to like stay. And then that same week, they're just like, actually,
Actually,
you
no.
guys
The
get out.
liability is too big. We don't know yet.
So yeah, definitely had to finish my last semester at home on Zoom. And fun fact, I was taking ASL.
Awesome.
That year and my professor was deaf and think about having to do ASL on Zoom.
Not ideal.
No,
Yeah.
not. Um, but we're able to do it. Did that I also lost it. That's one skill that you need to practice.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a roommate whose parents were both deaf, so she spoke ASL fluently, but it was
Mhm.
always so interesting to like learn from her and
Yeah.
I don't know any, but it's
Mm.
it's such a but she used it a lot. So I
Yeah.
imagine you do need
Mm.
it or she grew up using it as well. But I imagine you do need to use it all the time to keep it up
Mhm.
when it's new.
Yeah. But yeah, pandemic came back and I was just like, well, this is my one chance to actually take this seriously. And that's when I actually started taking pictures of myself. I hated taking pictures of myself.
Okay.
A friend of mine, she was the one that got me my first tripod. And because of her, it's the reason why I kept, going. And unfortunately, this friend of mine passed away.
I'm so sorry.
And so that was like kind of like the second motivation of why I should like keep going
Yeah.
because after she passed, maybe I took like a month off, and that was like maybe the longest at that time that I took a break. And I was just like, she's gonna be upset with me if I don't keep going. She's going
Uh-huh.
to be very upset. And so
Uh-huh.
I like in my mind that first year after she passed was like I had to keep going
For
because
her.
of her.
Yeah.
And honestly, thank goodness I had that like mindset because then maybe around the first anniversary of her passing, I got my first major collaboration. And so there was a
Wow.
moment that I was so close. I'd be like, man, what am I doing? And then I got that and I was like, okay.
This is what I'm
I
doing.
this one like and it was from a big brand and I was like thinking to myself like I had like 500 followers at the time. Like I did a lot of research of like how to get brand collaborations and everything and I was waiting to hit 1,000 followers. Like that was my goal.
Okay.
And once that happened, I was just like, okay, well, I need to start pitching now. Like use like all those
Yeah.
skills that I had and just like keep going and but yeah, like most of it of like my creativity really like came from, hard times. And I feel like that for most creatives, like that is what like kind of fuels you of like
Mhm.
going through something and like you're just like, well, I just gotta have to like
Mhm.
keep going and like
Mhm.
use this like energy to like
Get me
get,
something.
me through. I think that so my friend that passed, like she was a child model slash actress, and so sometimes like we'll reach out to her mom and like when it comes to like contracts and that I'm like, "So what am I supposed to do?"
Yeah.
And so, like, at least now I get, like, that guidance from, like, her mom
Mhm.
and, like yeah.
Can I
So,
ask you a
like
question really fast? With what do you think has been the difference between when you were more anonymous sharing your
mhm,
story to being finally like taking that mask off and just being you and sharing the story? Is there
mhm.
any like pros or cons to either? Or was one, do you like enjoy one more? Or did you learn something? I'm just curious like what the contrast of the two might
I mean,
might
I
be.
I definitely was able to share more, when I was anonymous, and I mean, I did still talk about mental health stuff once I really be myself, and, like, on Instagram for a while, I would do mental health checks every Monday, and I
Okay.
would talk about, like, my feelings, and but there is a negative side to that, of, like, being that, like, honest and, like, open, and doing the mental health checks, especially, like, after Kyrie passing, like, that is what kept me consistent because at least every Monday I knew that I was going to, like, do this.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, some people, especially when you are someone that is, like, open and honest, like, some people don't get it, and I remember having a comment of, someone telling me they're just like the response is like, "Why don't you just go to therapy? Like, it's like you're spiraling every week." And I was like I remember looking at that comment, I was like, "Let me look back at my previous mental health checks,"
Right.
and,
Like,
like,
am
they
I
were
spiraling?
all, like, positive,
Yeah.
and I'm just like,
Check myself.
I'm not spiraling," but, like, when people think mental health, they're just, like, have, like, this negative connotation about it, and when you are someone that, like, opens, like, up about things, like, people sometimes they want to, like, fix your problems, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm just opening up the space so that we could just be able to, like, talk about things, and I so actually, originally, my mental health check started off when I was streaming on Twitch, and it was structured a little bit differently where, like, I had, like, a topic, and I would just talk about, like, that topic, and that's where I'm just like, maybe one day if I'm able to, like, do this for, like, full time, maybe I could go back and, like, doing it in that way, so then it can be a conversation about mental health in general instead of me, like, talking about, like, my
Just
feelings
your own.
because it's
Mhm.
just so because yeah, I don't think you knew me when I did my mental health well, and also I did take another, like, big mental health break, now it's, like, 2 years ago, like, not last year, but the year before, August through December.
Okay.
I took it that was a big for someone that's on social media, that is a big break.
A big break. Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember when I opened up about, like, why I took the break and, because I think I mentioned to you, like, I didn't have a car for the past, like,
Mhm.
few years, and,
Mhm.
like, that here in Southwest that is hard.
It's hard.
It
This is
is
not like a walking city like some others or like very public like very easy public transportation or anything like that for sure. So,
yeah.
yeah.
And I also kinda was, like, tied into, like, family, like, issues, and I was, like, helping out family, and so, like, that it was, like, a whole
A lot on
other
your
thing
plate.
of, like and it was, like, very draining, and I
Mhm.
remember when I finally opened up about, like because, like, especially since I did mental health checks,
Mhm.
let's say I skipped a Monday or maybe I took a week off, like, I would get messages from people like, "Hey,
People were
Claudia, are you
checking in
okay?"
on you.
Yeah, and so I remember being like, "I have to explain that I'm not gonna be on" because then I would get constant messages, so me finally opening up about that and me taking a break, I lost followers. I was finally getting comments from people that, like, I've known follow me for a while, and I was just like, "They've never commented on any of my stuff before."
I know that.
And
Mhm.
now they are, and I'm just like, "I don't think I'm doing mental tricks anymore." For my mental health, I don't think I'm
We
letting
don't
people
need to do
in.
this anymore.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, "You know what?" Like and I mean, like, even when I was, like, talking about mental health and all that, I knew that I needed to make a shift towards, like, more lifestyle and fashion and all those things, and those are all the things that I like. And I'm like, "You know what? I'm just gonna be fun and, like, show the fun things and,
Yeah.
like, keep, like, my private life, like, private." And, like, there's certain things that you should protect, like, being
100%.
on, like, the internet, and so I'm just like, "Okay," and my mental health is not for sure show anymore, like, that is just.
Which is an important boundary to set because you're right. Like things online, people, and I think the way that the internet's used these days too is like it's just a grab to say stuff to get like
Mhm.
and people are such keyboard warriors. And I think there's nothing wrong with having like a professional or character or whatever image you have online. It
Mhm.
isn't all of you. That's okay.
Yeah.
And then you choose like what parts make sense to share and what's going to advance your brand and what's going to
Mhm.
be helpful to the people that you're connecting with and whatever else. But you don't owe anybody anything. I don't know. There's nobody in my life who knows every single part of me. Like, not even my husband, my best friends. Like, there's still
Mhm.
parts of me that are mine or parts that I'm more one way, not like fake, but like there's more of me that's open here with
Yeah.
this group, or there's more of me that's open or less open here. And that's just a part of life, I think. Like that
Yeah.
makes sense to me for sure.
And I think at least for me, where I am glad that I was the person that did not like social media. So then for me, I'm like, this is like once I made the decision, I'm taking it seriously. I'm like, this what you guys see is defining my essence. Like that is especially that like it came from my blog. Like
Yeah.
this is my brand and like I'm Claudie. And Claudie is very shy and reserved, and you probably won't hear from her for like a while. And like, I'm usually the person. No, my college friends, and I appreciate them so much because like growing up, especially being this shy like person, like you didn't really have friends. When I say there are times where I'm just like, oh, I was a part of the Caribbean Student Association, and every year there's an event called Conference where they would go to a different like part of like Florida and like have a big conference. I've never been to conference, right? And I would like say like, yeah, I didn't go to conference, and they looked at me. They're just like, what do you mean, Claudia? They're like, you were there, and I was like, no, I wasn't. And they're just like, no, Claudia, you were there, and it's because they're so used to me being just. I'm always there, but I'm always quiet in the corner
Uh,
and they were just like they always
they just
place me place, and I'm just
inserted in
like
their mind,
I'm
like
like,
visually you were there.
yeah, I'm like, and no, and they're just like, you're wearing this dress and all. I'm like, I was never there. Like even Miami Carnival, like the Caribbean, like I'm like, yeah, I never been to Carnival, and they're just like, no, you're with us, and I was like, no, I wasn't. And so like I, I appreciate that of like even usually you forget the quiet person, but they're just like,
You're always with us.
yeah,
Your essence is always there.
yeah,
I love that. So
and
what do you think are some of the top like couple things you've learned the most from what sounds like putting yourself out of your comfort zone, like taking that mask off, or that wasn't even a mask, like, like coming out, like just really
mm-hmm,
owning your story as you and pitching yourself to brands and putting yourself on the internet. That stuff is not easy. Like I know I do a
mm-hmm,
little bit of it for on our side, and it's you have to have a thick skin because you're
mm-hmm.
not everyone's going to say yes and you're not going to be for everyone, and that is okay,
Yeah.
but you have to like get there. So what are some of the things that you'd say you've learned the most just for life lessons, from this professional route that you've
Yeah,
taken?
you you have to be like absolutely delusional. I like and I was actually just talking to someone about this of like so because I have the influencer group and like I kind of have a team, right? And this new person that I'm thinking about adding to the team, I'm just like she's as delusional as I am and I need that. Like
I love
because
it.
then I'm just like all the things can happen. Like there's something that I want. I'm not going to say exactly right now because I'm just like, some things you gotta keep.
It's
Like,
still forming in there. We got it.
but like I I created like a pitch deck for it and like I'm like almost done with it. And then I got into my own head of like, is this realistic? Is this actually gonna happen? Is this whatever? And then with this person, I'm just like, oh, this can happen. With this adding this person on, I'm like,
Right?
I'm sure it can again. And like I usually am delusional enough to at least come up with the ideas and it's always the next step of like pitching myself to someone of
Executing
like,
it.
can this actually work out? Can this, happen? Like my influencer pool party that I had last year. Really most of the meetings was me talking to I don't think that you met Abby, my photographer, but you met Jasmine. She was
Mhm. Mhm.
at the
I remember
Naples
that too.
yeah grand event, and most of the conversation was them being like, Claudia, you got because like I have all ideas, I have all the things and blah blah blah, and just me like second guessing myself.
Yeah.
But Abby, my photographer, she'd be like, you manifested this. Everything that you wanted it. We
Yeah.
got a house to do the pool party. We got a DJ to do it for free. One of the things that I got last minute when I say completely like, and it would have been a good event either way, but I was looking for sunscreen products from brands, and this sunscreen company reached out to me a week before so I had a meeting with them on Monday to like finalize and say that like we are confirming that this is going to happen, and they sent the products to the house on Friday, and the
Wow,
event was Saturday,
that's huge.
and they sent us 30 tote bags, 30 fans, and 30, like it was a variety of different
Mhm.
sunscreen products.
Amazing.
And because it's a big brand, they can like send that
All that
much, but
much
like
stuff.
here in Southwest Florida, like small businesses, they can't send that,
No.
you know,
No.
amount. And like a lot of like the little like PR that I got, like I went to an event in Miami, and like we got like $300 worth of like products, and I asked my photographer and one of my friends that I had as a plus one if there's any products that like you can give, because I was supposed to do a giveaway. Kept on pushing back the giveaway, and I was like, here, I have a whole bunch of products that I could put, because at least some of the people my group didn't go to the event, and then I opened the event to some outside and people as well. So then I'm just like, at least there's a group of people that have not gotten these products
Yeah.
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 So at least everybody was able to get the company
The
is called Pooh
sunscreen.
Bar. Yeah. Everyone was able to at least get that, but then they got to be able to like pick and choose from the other
Wow.
products. And so I was just like
It all comes
that, like,
together.
you know, I really lucked out on that because
Yeah.
like there was one brand, and when I say, oh my goodness, the things that I deal with. So I pitched to a brand, and AI was responding to me. And the thing is, AI was basically just like, yeah, we'll send you all these things and blah, blah, blah. And I had to realize, I was like, I picked up, I was like,
A human.
this isn't right. But I was just like, man, the fact that AI is saying yes to like, yeah, they will
Right.
send
Like,
me
check
all.
your
And
AI algorithm.
I was just like, oh my goodness. But like, I was like, oh, this is not real. And I was like, very sad. And then the pole bar thing happened. But like, yeah, it like being delusional about like certain things, but delusional, but with like a plan. Like you had to
Yeah.
like back,
Yeah. You put a lot of hard
things.
work and thought and intention in, but I think the delusion comes in believing that, like, your little plan, make it 3 times bigger and then ask for
Hmm.
that. Because what's the
Yeah.
worst thing that they're gonna say? No? Who the hell cares
Yeah.
if, like, you know, I don't know, Maybelline doesn't wanna give me makeup? At least I can ask
Yeah.
them, right? Or, like,
Yeah.
whoever. Like, why
Oh,
the
like
hell not? Right? Like,
one of the
it
brands
doesn't
that
matter.
I like am still kind of surprised that I got. So, and I'm so sad that they stopped their ambassador program. But Boohoo, it was like 2 years ago on their Instagram stories, they were looking for Boohoo TikTok ambassadors. I think at the time I had like 1,000 on Instagram. I had maybe 100 on TikTok.
Mhm.
And I think on their application, they asked for your Instagram link, obviously TikTok link, and YouTube link. I wasn't active on YouTube at the time, but I had a media kit. And I put my media kit link in
Mhm.
that. And I got that. And I'm just like, once I was like, well, let me just, if I don't get it, I know it's because of my following.
Right.
Like, if that's the only thing
And
that's
it,
holding
like,
me back, whatever.
also isn't that deep. It's not
Yeah.
personal. It is what it is. But I think, like, what brands are realizing is that they want real people
Mm-hmm.
who aren't millions and millions, because that, like, gets lost. And I think it's like
Yeah.
real humans doing real stuff in their communities that can really talk about it and,
Mm-hmm.
like, care more, because it means a
Yeah.
lot to you or I if we get this product. We're really gonna, like, post and
Yeah.
share and talk about it, versus someone who's like, meh, I have 30 Birkin bags, like, whatever. Like, you're like,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my God. So I think it shows how, be that delusional person who tasks, who works hard, who has something to offer, and you want to share it and, like, inform others of really incredible, awesome brands and
Mm-hmm.
things going on, and be part of the community, and just do it. Like, don't watch
Yeah.
behind the screen. Like you said, for so long, you were behind the screen. Not everyone has to get online and do this line of it, but I think if people can get out of their own way, sometimes there are all these really cool opportunities and doors available. We're all
Mm-hmm.
just, like, too polite or scared to ask.
Yeah.
And, like, being
And the
told
other
no is not bad. Like, it
thing,
just is what it is, and we move
yeah.
on, right? It's not like the end of the world if you're told no sometimes, you know?
And the other thing you have to think about is that, you know, Especially because so many people are just like, why aren't this brand reaching out to me? Why aren't, like,
Mhm.
why? But like, if you don't put yourself out there, they don't know about you.
Exactly.
Like, yes, sometimes the brands are gonna look for like,
Websites.
creators to like pitch, but like sometimes you get like a lot. There's so many creators, you're gonna get lost
Yeah.
in the sauce of things. And so, like, I remember there's an application for the site is like LTK, and I did not know that it's a site that like you need to be invited into. So I applied and I got denied. There's like you
They were
weren't
like, "No,
invited.
ma'am. How did you get this
Within
link?"
Within 2 months, I was invited in. And so sometimes, like, you have to, like, apply for things because it's not like they're saying no right now because maybe you don't fit the criteria for right now, but then they are probably still looking at your content, like, for a while
Right.
to,
To
like,
see what
see
you really
when's the
have.
moment
Mhm.
to reach out.
I love that. Well, I know we could just chat about this forever because I
Mm.
nerd out on this stuff. But what do you think is one last really poignant piece of wisdom, advice, thought that you want to share to leave everyone with?
The other thing that I've been hearing a lot lately is especially when people talk about like an overnight success, like the people that you think are overnight success, they've been doing it for years.
Mm,
They have been great. Like all the people I know, it's like careers that they've been doing it for 10 years and you just now hearing about them. Like I think Victoria Monet, I've heard about her for a while, but like she was creating music for 11 years and now she's able to
watch
have
the
like
big
her
way.
moment. And for me again, this is 8 years in and I'm like it was about 2 or 3 years ago that I started getting collaborations and now I'm getting like bigger and bigger things. And so it takes time and you
Yeah.
have to like keep going.
Yeah. I love that. That's such a good reminder. I think we forget. I read the book Atomic Habits once, and the quote that always sticks out with me from that book is on the 100th swing, you break the big boulder. But the
Mhm.
99 swings that came before that were all the reasons why the 100th swing broke it, right? Like
Mhm.
that successful moment isn't in a vacuum. It's
Yeah.
all that hard work before. That's
Mhm.
really not sexy and really not fun and really boring, but like so imperative, or that 100th swing doesn't crack the boulder
Mhm.
open, you know?
Yeah.
So, such a good reminder. Where can people connect with you, follow you, ask questions, hang out with you?
Everything defining my essence. So my blog, definingmyessence.com, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, what else? YouTube, all defining my essence.
Okay. And I'll make sure to have those like links here
Mhm.
you guys can click on as well. But we really appreciate you sharing a little bit more about yourself with us and giving just some really great tips and wisdom. And we'll see you all next time. Yay. Thanks for hanging out with us on this episode of Tuesday Tea. We hope something here landed, encouraged you, or made you feel a little less alone.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to follow, rate, and share the podcast. It helps more people find these stories.
And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. It really supports the show.
For more ways to connect with us or learn about what we do, check out the links below.
And until the next cup, keep the tea hot
And